Okay, this is just one little slide in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't quite work out where to put it in, so it's here. And it's the idea of complementary outcomes. The probabilities of all possible outcomes for a single event must sum to 1. So if you go back to that previous one, you've got a pupil from school A or a pupil from school B. Those probabilities must add up to 1. So if the probability of being from school B is 0.6, then the probability of being from school A must be 0.4. So here, when one of two outcomes must happen, they're said to be complementary. Note there's an E in here, not an I. One with an I means that it says, oh, you're a very nice outcome today, aren't you? That's complementary with an I. Complementary with an E means that they add together to 1. They go together. Okay, so a part is either defective or not defective. So the probability that it's defective is 0.2. So the probability that it's not defective is 1 minus 0.2, which is 0.8. So if you predict that the probability of rain in a particular outdoor event is 0.1, then the probability that it will be fine, if we assume that weather is either fine or raining, is 0.9. 0.1 equals 0.9. I'll just check I've got everything here. Okay, now another kind of terminology that I need you to know about is about types of events. Right, so these are the terms that I found last year people had trouble with, so I'm going to go over this carefully today. And one of the problems is that these two terms get confusing. And so in the testing you'll need to be able to tell whether something is mutually exclusive or collectively exhaustive or both or neither. Okay, now mutually exclusive, mutual means towards each other and exclusive means not pushing aside or not the same. So if events are mutually exclusive, only one of them can happen. So that would be an example is that a house sells in less than 2 weeks or a house sells in more than 10 weeks. What am I doing there? Is not mutually exclusive. Okay, that one is not mutually exclusive because you could have a house selling in 3 weeks. But so there are other things. No, sorry. I just got myself confused there. That is mutually exclusive. Either it can sell in either less than 2 weeks or in more than 10 weeks. It can be something else, but it can't be both. Okay, a house either sells then or it sells then, but it can't do both. The other one is collectively exhaustive, which is that one of them must happen. So in this one, a part is satisfactory or a part is defective. And you can have a combination. And this is probably the main bit here that I want you to get from this, and very important for marketing and so on, is that when you ask a set of questions, or when you ask survey questions and you give alternatives, you should try to be mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. It makes it much easier for coding. So an example of that, we're going to come here. So examples of mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Okay, male or female. Now, I do have people who go into arguments about this one, that you can get people who are neither, but I'm not going to go down there. We're going to assume that generally we can either be male or female and nothing else. And only one. Okay, we're not talking about other things here. So, generally when you go to a survey, they have a box where you tick boy or girl or male or female or whatever. You don't tick more than one and you do tick one. Okay, and there's nothing else you can be. So that's mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Okay, collectively exhaustive, but not mutually exclusive. Oh, God. In less than... I'm just hoping I've got this right. Oh, yeah, that was a hard one. We'll go to this one here. Not collectively exhaustive. Okay, live in Christchurch or in Auckland. Okay, so this one, let's have a look. Is it mutually exclusive? Yes, you either live in Christchurch or you live in Auckland. I know some of you do have your parents in Auckland and you're here at the moment, but you actually have to decide where your residence is at a certain time. And on census night especially. So it's mutually exclusive because you can't do both. However, it's not collectively exhaustive. What else could you do? Exactly. You could live in Wellington, live in Dunedin, somewhere else. So that's why it's not collectively exhaustive, because there are other alternatives. Okay, so there are other alternatives. Okay, here's another example. You like listening to classical or popular music? Okay, so you've got this questionnaire and you have to tick the box. Do you like listening to classical music, popular music? Okay, are they mutually exclusive? No, because you can like classical and you can like popular music. Lots of people do. Okay, are they collectively exhaustive? No, because you might like country or heavy metal or something else like that. So that one there goes in this box here. You've got thinner pens than I have, so you should be able to fit it all in. Okay, and you can see why that's a tricky bit. When you ask that question and they say tick only one, you're really in trouble, because if you like them both, how do you deal with that? And if you're processing the questionnaire and people can tick more than one box, you end up with a lot more ticks than you have people, and that's very much harder to process or to deal with than if you just have one tick per person, and you have to use different statistical techniques. Okay, what about, this is the one I had before. This box was the hardest one for me to think up, where they can be collectively exhaustive but not mutually exclusive. So the one I came up with is that you earn less than $50,000 a year, or earn more than $40,000. Okay, which is a really stupid question. Okay, so if you earned, it's covered everything, because everything is either less than 50,000 or more than 40,000. So it is collectively exhaustive. But if you earn 45,000, you actually belong to both things. So that's why it's a really stupid question. So I just tried to make up ones. This one here, these ones are the ones we like, defective or not defective. And this one, you can have ethnicity, so you could have Pākehā, Maori, and the win-all other. Okay. Other is a really handy little word to make sure that you're collectively exhaustive. So if you're not sure you've got every possibility there, stick in other. The number of times I've had questionnaires that I've tried to fill out and they drive me crazy because they're so badly written. And in fact, I got one when I just produced my first baby, and it was second baby, and it was the stupidest questionnaire, and someone had paid large amounts of money. It was a Hillary Commission one, and it asked about my levels of exercise while I'd been pregnant. And I spent the time sitting up in bed with a red pen, basically marking the questionnaire and telling them why it was such a bad questionnaire, which is probably not what they wanted from me. But one of the questions they had was, did your level of exercise change while you were pregnant? And the answer was yes. And it said why, and it listed a whole lot of reasons, but it didn't have an other category. And the reason my exercise had changed is because we'd shift from living up a bloomin' cliff face down to living on the flat. And so I didn't have to climb the cliff face every day because we didn't have a car. And so that was my reason, but boy, they didn't have that one there, and they didn't have other. So putting other means that you become collectively exhaustive. It doesn't stop you being not mutually exclusive, but it does deal with the other one. Okay, I just have a break for you to dwell on that exciting little possibility, and then we'll talk about independence of events.